calculate them. After watching this video, you should have a firmer understanding of what a GPA is, have some basic knowledge of how to calculate a GPA, and be able to differentiate between cumulative and term GPA. In this presentation, we're going to go through the definition of a GPA. We'll do some practice calculations, and then talk about how to raise your GPA if your GPA is lower. One of the reasons why we have GPAs is to be able to measure if you're being successful in university. Educational institutions have used GPA for decades, and while the scales vary, the concept applies across the world. Now, how we apply success is by using the concept of academic standing. So students with a good GPA will be in good standing. A good GPA at Zayed University is a 2.0 or higher. If your GPA is below 2.0, the first semester you are in academic warning. You will be given a semester to try and improve your grades by improving yourself as a student and by trying again in courses that you have failed. If you're unable to improve your GPA, the next semester you will be on academic probation 1. Again, you'll get a semester to try and improve yourself as a student and improve your marks. If you're unable to rise above a 2.0, you go into academic probation 2. Academic probation 2 is where a lot of students become stressed because this is your last semester at the university. If you're unable to raise your GPA above a 2.0, you face being dismissed from the institution. Being dismissed means being asked to leave the university and no longer be a student. In class, the student asks, does this basically mean being kicked out? Yes, it basically means being kicked out. However, if you are dismissed at a time, you can apply to appeal or to ask and be given one more opportunity called special probation, where you can show the university, maybe after you've taken some time off to fix your life up, that you can be a successful student. And this is only given to students once, and it will allow you to come back for one semester. So if you have personal reasons that are stopping you from being successful in your coursework, we suggest that you wait until you've resolved your point average, because I take your grades that you earned in classes and we're going to convert them to points before. Thank you. We add up all your points and divide by the number of credits. So a GPA, as we discussed, allows us to understand if you're doing well in your courses and at Zayed University. A GPA is actually something that follows you, though. It might follow you to your jobs or maybe to future school as you go forward with your career and with your life. So let's go over some key aspects, and we're going to watch a video on how to calculate your GPA. So by definition, a GPA is a number that represents the average value, right? An average is when you add things up and you divide by the number of things of accumulated final grades earned in courses over time. So at Zayed University, we use a scale like the one you see on your screen, from 0 to 4. However, some GPA scales go up to 8 or 9, depending on the country of origin. Now let's take a look and see how a GPA is calculated, and then we'll go over some more specific information.
So how do you go about calculating your GPA in college? So let's say if you got a B in chemistry, let's say a D in physics, a C in your chemistry lab, and let's say you got an A in calc and an A in gym, or let's say a PE class. What is your GPA for this semester? Well, the first thing you need to determine is the credit hours for each course. So let's say that the chemistry course is a 3-credit course. And let's say physics is the same. Let's say the lab is a 1-credit course. And let's say calculus is a 4-credit course. And for PE, we're going to say it's a 2-credit course. Now, the next thing you need to determine is the point system for each letter grade. In most schools, an A is worth 4 points. A B is worth 3 points. A C is worth 2 points, and a D is worth 1 point. F is not worth anything. Now, the next thing that you need to do is calculate the quality points. In order to do this, multiply the credit hours by the points for each letter grade. So 3 times 3 is 9. Now for the next row, we're going to multiply the 3 credit hours for the physics course times the points that we receive based on the letter grade. So 3 times 1 is 3. And then repeat the process. 1 times 2 is 2, 4 times 4 is 16, 2 times 4 is 8. Now, the next thing we have to do is calculate the total number of credit hours and the total quality points. So let's add up these numbers. 3 plus 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7, plus 4 is 11, plus 2 is 13. So we're taking a total of 13 credit hours in this particular semester. Next, sum up these values. Find the total quality points score, or whatever you want to call it. 9 plus 3 is 12, 12 plus 2 is 14, 14 plus 16 is 30, and then plus 8, that's 38. Now the GPA is basically going to be the quality points, or the total quality points, which is 38, divided by the total number of credit hours, which is 13. So 38 divided by 13 is 2.923. So that will be your GPA for this particular semester if you're taking these courses and if you received these grades. That's how you can calculate it.
Okay, what he was calculating is what we call a term GPA or a semester GPA. Okay, so this looks at the courses that you took together during a semester or during the 4 months that you're enrolled in them. So for example, last January through May, you guys were in courses. So at the end of the semester, you got your grades. If you average together those grades, you get your term GPA. Now, university is built up of many terms. For most students, there's somewhere between 8 to 9 terms over a course of 4 years. So if a term GPA is, what you've taken one semester, a cumulative GPA is what you've taken the whole time while you were at the university. So basically, we take a term and we add it to another term. And you do the same process. You don't just add together the GPAs and divide by 2. But you actually calculate out all the points, add up all the points, add up all the credits, and then you take the total average of that. So there'll be a practice problem like this so you can see this concept. But that's why a term GPA and cumulative GPA are different, because a term is looking over a period of 4 months, whereas a cumulative could be 4 months, but it could also be 4 years. Now, what are grades worth? So different grades are worth different amounts of points, and that's how we calculate your GPA. So an A grade is worth 4 points. It's the top of the scale and gives you the most points per class. Then as you go down each letter grade, you take away essentially 1 point. You can even do this on your hand while you're sitting in our exam. Put up 4 fingers for an A and count on your fingers in order to get to the grade you need. That's an easy way without having to really memorize this information. Now as you get to plus and minuses for these grades, you'll need to look that up in the charts. It's not something that I want you to worry about memorizing, but you will have problems that have A minus or a C plus in them. But there are other grades. that you guys are probably familiar with. So last semester you were able to pass or no pass a class. So no passes do not count in your GPA. Neither do passes, withdraws, or FL grades in developmental courses. The one other grade that does count in your GPA is a WF, and you can see from looking at this slide to this slide, a WF and an F count the same way in your GPA. They're both going to hold it down a lot, which is why, again, we repeat classes as quickly as possible. Now, different classes will be worth different amounts of credits. If a class is a normal university level, a 100, then it's going to be 3 credit hours. Up in the majors, you're going to have classes that are 3 credits, 4 credits, and 1 credit. So you have to refer to the catalog or your schedule. Developmental courses such as basic math, basic English, or basic Arabic will all be worth 0 credit hours, as well as the advising class, which you're in this semester called Advising 101. Now, practice makes perfect. So let's look at a few examples as you guys are developing your understanding. Okay, so just like the video we saw before, we're going to go ahead and we're going to solve this problem. So this is a summer semester where a student is taking 2 courses. So we're going to come in and we're going to solve it. So a B is worth 3 points. A C is worth 2 points. Then I'm going to calculate out my credit hours. I'm looking at the IT course, Gen 175, and the English 2 course, Gen 145. Since these are 100 level courses, they're worth 3 credits apiece. Now I'm going to do the math. So I look at the IT course on the first row and I say 3 times 3 equals 9. And then I look at the English grade, 2 times 3 equals 6. And I come out with 15 points. So if you imagine that the highest grades you can earn are A's, right? The maximum points that I could get in this semester would be 4 times 3, 12, times 2 is 24. So out of 24 points, I've earned 15 by earning an B and an A. And this is why a 4.0 is different than, like say, a B minus C plus. Because you're looking at, I could have earned 24 whole points, and all I've earned is 15. Now 15 isn't a GPA, so we still need to divide by the total number of credit hours, which is 6. Now when I take 15 and I divide by 6, I end up with 2.5. 2.5 is my GPA in this example. Okay, and then here's a larger example for you. So in this example, we have 5 classes like a normal term. The first thing we have to do, we have to add in our quality points. Then we add in our credit hours. At this point, you guys should be really picking up on the process here. It's the same steps over and over. Now, if I was looking at more than one term, I would actually just want to look at all of the classes together if I was doing cumulative, and I would add in all the points, then all the credit hours. I don't calculate each term separately. Okay, so then I'm going to multiply across, and I get my quality points, and I do my sum. So then I take 36, and I divide it by the number of credits, which is 15. And then I have my GPA of 2.4. So let's go on to the last point. So the last conversation we need to have is, how do you raise your GPA? So when it comes to raising your GPA, you have 2 basic ways. So if you have classes that are WFs or Fs, you just need to repeat the class and earn a passing grade. This will help your GPA raise. But of course, the biggest part of how you raise your GPA is by earning higher grades, right? We don't want to be like this kid who's shocked every semester when his grades pop up on the SAT. So how do we do that? Number 1, You guys need to be participating in class. Even with online classes, you guys can really participate, or you can just log on and walk away. A lot of your faculty are watching for this. And I've even heard of people looking to adjust attendance based on participation, not attendance. Then you have the concept of, you know what, you can choose to study right before the exam, but if you actually want to learn the material, you need to study weekly. When you study over time, you're able to actually learn the material, not cram it into your brain, and then you're able to see connections between topics from the first week and the third week, for example. And then when you have those questions, you have time to go to the office hours and sit online with the professor and go through things piece by piece. The next thing that you need to do is to avoid staying up all night, whether it's for leisure or for schoolwork. When you walk into an exam especially, okay, it could be just normal class, but especially into an exam, and you've been up all night studying and you feel so proud because you did it, the reality is your brain at that point, after being up all night, is basically like a laptop that is 6 years old. When you turn it on, it's going to give you that circle that just tells you it's loading. And the reason why is when the human brain does not have sleep, it cannot process information. So you're going to look at the exam and you're not going to be sure what it's saying, or you're going to make silly mistakes like saying you get 3 points for earning a C grade, for example. Okay, so plan ahead, study ahead, so you're not putting yourself in a position to have to pull an all-nighter. And then you need to make use of your resources. On campus, we have Al-Waha, which is faculty tutoring for math and English and science. We have PALS, which is student tutoring for almost every class. The Math Cafe, which is ran by the College of Natural and Health Sciences. There are private tutors, private life coaches. We have a counseling center if you start to struggle. We also have our Student Accessibility Services, which help students with learning disabilities and challenges. So if you need support, we are here for you, but you need to be the person that says, I need help. And then earlier in the week, some students kind of talked to me after class and they were like, do I even have any hope, right? I'm on academic whatever this term. Is there any hope? Right now, you guys all have hope for all of your courses. You start the semester with an A. And then it's up to you based on how you act during the semester that will impact your grade. So do you study weekly? Do you go to office hours? Do you pay attention in class? These are the things that lead you to an A. If you're not necessarily an A student, think about the A students that are in your classes, and you'll realize that these are the things they just do. So take this semester. You've got a wonderful opportunity. You can see your professors without having to worry about being on campus. You can attend your classes and be comfortable. Make it a semester to remember, and a semester that helps really raise your GPA. Okay, so that was it for this lesson. Next class, we're going to talk about more student handbook policies as we continue our journey down all the rules and regulations you need in order to be a good student.